Hey everyone, and welcome back to Art a Carte. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to draw a baby horse. I have done a video of a baby horse a long time ago. I think it's still on my channel, but the video quality was really bad. I had really bad lighting and, well, it just didn't turn out very good. So I had a lot of requests for drawing a baby horse, so I thought I would go ahead and do that next. And do a little bit better quality with that. So I'll be back at the end of this video because I need your guys' opinion on a couple of things. So if you want to help me out and cast your vote on that, make sure to watch all the way to the end so you can find out what I need help with. So let's go to my art table. So to start this drawing off, I'm going to start off finding my base shapes. So I'm going to just lay in some shapes looking at my reference photo. I have a nice circle here for the chest and a circle here for the rump, and then I'm going to connect those two together. Now when drawing a baby, as opposed to drawing just a regular horse, we're going to shrink proportions. So the chest and the rump are going to be relatively a lot closer together when you're kind of building these shapes up. As they grow older, it's going to lengthen out a little bit more. I'm also going to put in the head up here, and the head in proportion to the body is going to be a lot larger, especially when you draw kind of an illustrated or cartoony look and you want to draw a baby. Putting their head in a little bit larger than normal kind of adds to that cuteness. Also making their mouths a little bit smaller also adds to that. So even though my reference photo has the baby's face come out a little bit longer, because I want this to be a little bit more illustrated, I'm going to shrink it up. That's the awesome part about art, is you can go ahead and change those things if you like, or you can keep it exactly as closely to the reference or real life as you'd like to as well. It just is kind of your preference or your style of art. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the lines for the neck. And something you want to think about when you bring these lines down is you want to go with the flow. You don't want to bring a line down and just have it abruptly come into the chest. You want to think if you're wrapping skin and muscle around things, how that would kind of flow in around. And there's the bottom part of the baby horse's face, and then coming up across the nose, top of his head, and then just a little bit of pushing out with the skull for his eye, and then coming down to his little nose and all that kind of cuteness. And again, drawing super lightly so we can go back and erase lines if we need to if we decide we don't like them. Now we're going to put the ears in there, and they kind of have these just wild, wacky ears when they're babies. So I'm just going to use some ovals. And I'm not going to be afraid about making them a little too big. Again, adding things a little bit larger to the baby makes them a little bit cuter, and they just really don't seem to have grown into their ears until they're, a good 4, 5, 6 months old, and they kind of start growing into. It's kind of like kids when they get their grown-up teeth, but they still have a little kid face, and they just have these gigantic teeth, and they just kind of that awkward stage, but they're so adorable. So this is kind of their awkward stage. Their neck is relatively really short in comparison to their body as well, so you don't want to have a really long neck. Where you do want your length is in your legs. They are all legs, so you want to make sure that you really give some nice good length to that. I suggest when you draw out your legs, just draw them out with a stick figure so that you kind of know how they're going. So here's the shoulder blade up here. I'm going to have this leg come up, the big bony knee coming down. There's the ankle going into the hoof there. And then this other leg down here, there's the knee, ankle, and then coming back into the hoof. Here's the hips up here, coming down here to the knee, back to the back of the leg, down. And because this leg is up, I'm going to have this leg down, otherwise he'd, fall over. But I can have this leg up here on this other side because this leg is down. So there's the knee coming in, back of the leg, and down. And then, of course, they have their little tails, which, are short and kind of stubby. I'm just going to kind of put a little bit of fluff there for his tail. They don't have a lot of mane. Again, just a little bit of fluff right in there for their mane. And their forelock, or the hair that comes down between their eyes, is really short as well. So there's our basic block in for our horse. And I did a little bit of fleshing out up here, so now I can go and finish that up and flesh in the legs. And again, not a lot of muscle, lots of, you're seeing all those bones and tendons. And as they get older, they really then begin to put the muscle on. But to really make them look a lot younger, you're going to keep it very thin, very bony. And keep those knees nice and big and bony. So the underneath, as it comes down along the underside of the horse, isn't a straight line. It's going to wrap around and then up and towards the flanks, which is this area back here. Back into the back of the leg with a really kind of bony little back heel. And so you're going to notice that while I'm drawing this, I'm not going for that crisp line. I'm making lots of little lines and just moving my pencil around because I'm worried more about getting the motion and the shape rather than that detailed line. Don't go in for that detail yet. That's going to come after you have your positioning settled. For years in the beginning of my art career, when I was just a student, I just balked every time my art teacher said, you know, just put a loose drawing down there. I said, I can see it in my head. I don't need a loose drawing. I want to get right in to start working on those details. And so I could never understand why my art teachers wanted me to, you know, put in those circle lines or, you know, draw just really, really lightly and loosely and then erase it. I mean, if I knew the line was going to be there, why didn't I put it down there the right way the first time? And it took me quite a long time of watching other artists. And really, it was when I started studying artists that I really was impressed by. They were really strong influences in my art career. And I watched them after years and years and years of drawing, and they were extremely well versed in their form of art. And yet when they drew these out, they put all those guidelines in there. And they drew just like I had been told that I should. And I suddenly thought, if they're doing that, if they're taking the time to put in those lines, it's got to be something important. And so I made myself do it. I began to take pictures that they had drawn where I could still see the guidelines, and I would try to draw that, add those guidelines in there. And I watched and I studied, and then after a while I got it. I understood why it is important to have those lines there. It took me a lot longer in my art journey than most people. But now I finally understand it, and I encourage you guys, if you're at that point where you're still like, I don't get it, I just like to draw what I want to draw, ask yourself why artists do it. There's a reason behind it, and give it a try. You know, maybe it won't work for you. Maybe your style is okay, and that's fine, but you'll never know unless you give it a try. So now that I've got this horse out here, and I kind of put in his mane and his tail, and again, just drawing the shape out, not trying to draw individual hair, and just letting it go every which way. Thing with hair is you don't want it to be uniform. You don't want the same thickness of clumps. You want to break that up. Think about the motion of things as he's pulling his tail up, how the hair would react to that. These smaller, shorter pieces of hair at the top, they're going to begin to fall over, where these ones are still pulled over by the force of him bringing his tail up here. Just little things to think about. Bringing his eye, nice way to position his eyes, find where that skull comes out, and then kind of draw that line diagonal back and get that eye in there. I have a lot of videos kind of giving some details on all of these things with a lot more instruction on that and kind of talking about those. So I encourage you, if there's something in here that you're like, I don't get this mane or this eye, go and check those videos out. I think they might help you out a little bit better. I'm going to put in his other little nostril, which I kind of think looks like a little 6. Looks like a 6 there. And there we go. So he's pretty much the position that I want him to be. I kind of want to look back at my reference photo, make sure that it's going in the way I want it to. And I think it is. I think it's looking okay. Alright, once you have it the way you like it, then you can go ahead and decide what you want to do to finish it. Whether you want to ink it in, or paint it, or color pencils, color crayons, markers, whatever. If you want to just leave it like this as a fun sketch, you can do that as well. So yeah, let me go ahead and put some finishing work to this, and then I'll be back at the end to show you the final product. When you're thinking about your color schemes and things like that, don't be afraid to think outside the box and come up with some wild and crazy colored things. So yeah, this is kind of my version of a realistic My Little Pony. Yeah. So if My Little Ponies were real, this would be my My Little Pony. Except it doesn't have a cutie mark. No cutie mark yet. I think I'm kind of enthusiastic about color right now and going off, you know, seeing out of the box when it comes to color. I mean, I did my bulldog and I did this pony now, and as you guys have, many of you guys have commented, every time I come on these videos, my hair is just a little bit different in color. Color is a fun thing to play with, and don't be afraid of it. It really can set your drawings free if you can just see out of the box and just experiment. So now the thing I need your guys' opinion with. I get loads and loads of comments every single day of you guys sending in lots of different requests for all different topics of art videos, and it's amazingly fun. So at the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys 3 choices on the next horse drawing video. So it's not going to come up for a little while because we just did a horse one now, but I'll start working and creating on it. So I need you to help me choose which. These are the 3 top ones that I get requested the most. So you get to choose which one of these 3 you would like to see, and kind of like the most popular commented one on the bottom. I will go with that one first. So one I get is to draw a mama horse and a baby horse together to kind of show the difference in sizes and all that. There's also the request for a horse jumping video. I've gotten lots of requests for that. And then the last one that I get a lot of requests with is drawing horses fighting. So those are your 3 choices: a mama and a baby, horses jumping, or horses fighting. Let me know in the comment section below which one you would like to see first. And as always, if there's something something special that you would like to see, you can leave that in the comment section below as well, and I'll put that on my list. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If this is your first time watching these videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.